Hello and Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In this short video of today, we are going to discuss a novel by Cervantes, Miguel de Cervantes. The novel title is going to be Don Quixote. This is the novel for this day. Let us see what this novel is and why it is important as a part of world literature as well as a classic literature. Uh, This Don Quixote it was published in 1605 in two parts. Part 1 was published in 1605 and 1615 part 2 of this novel also came. And as far as genre is concerned, we can say that it is just like the novels of Henry Fielding, that is Tom Jones and Joseph Andrews. This novel also is a satirical chivalric romance, and it is also known and can be considered as the modern novel. It has impacted number of people and writers because of the blend that of the realism and fantasy that was found in it. For example, one of the statements from the novel can be taken as, when life itself seems lunatic, who knows where madness lies? The statement goes to show that the uh, whole life seems like the rush of the madness, and everyone is going about in that way as if it is 100%. Like the mad people, the people are going around at that time. It doesn't matter where madness lies and where it does not lie. So that is the type of thing talked about the life we are living in this novel. So that is why it becomes really significant with respect to the human life. Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes is a big novel, and it is one of the pieces of world literature published, as I already said, in 1605, then 1615 in two parts. This is a type of satire, but it's philosophical masterpiece as well because it goes to explore the themes of reality versus illusion, the nature of heroism, and the power of literature. Here we get three important topics. That is, first of all, it is the reality versus illusion. Most of the time, the human beings are illusioned because of their wishes and desires and construct high castles of their hopes. But very soon, when they face the reality, these illusions become disillusions, and as a result, one comes back to reality. But this causes a lot of harm to the human psyche and to the human thinking as well. And in the same way, the concept of heroism, how it is and why it is, what kind of heroism should be there, that is also one of the non clarities. Everyone wishes to be the hero in one way or the other, but what is the difficulty, the problematic things in heroism, that is an issue, and this novel goes to discuss that as well. And if all these things are considered together, this novel goes to teach the human being as well that they may be illusion, but they must keep in mind the reality as well. That literature definitely goes to improve the situation of the people, the situation of the reader, but it doesn't mean that one should try to become as literature is suggesting. Because if we try to become, we shall have to fit in the world of reality rather than the world of illusion. So that is why it teaches a lot to the people as well. So that makes this novel really significant. The novel can be summarized in looking at that there is a young person, rather we should say noble person, and that person is known as Don Quixote. He lived in La Mancha, the place, and he read a lot of novels which were based on chivalric romances. After reading these novels, he also wished to perform the same way his life as he read in these romances, that he became knight errant. And he also had one more person with him in the same way as we have Joseph's knight and the squire together. So he had a squire as well, that was Sancho Panza. These two people become ready and are ambitious enough to embark on the series of adventures like the knights, and often highlight the contact between the idealistic delusions and the harsh reality of the world. Both of these people, in a way, are the symbols of illusion and that of reality. Illusion on the part of the knight, that is Don Quixote, and reality possibly is shown through the character of Sancho Panza because he saves him from number of situations. So in this way, the theme of the novel, the difference between the illusion and reality, combination of these two, and when these two things a human being undergoes, what is the consequent, what is the kind of result that is shown by this novel. If we throw a little bit more light on this novel, we see that There is one man, Quijano, who takes the name of Don Quixote. He is the protagonist of the story and he is inspired by the chivalric romances. Sancho Panza is another person who's loyal to him and practical sequoia. Some of the adventures which they make through their life are three, four in number only. For example, they look at the windmills and feel their importance or feel their good thing. In the same way, they meet some of the innkeepers and try to have a good dialogue with them. And knighting ceremony also takes place there. And in the same way, liberation of the slaves, that is another incident through which they go. And that all goes to prove the adventures which these people are enjoying as a part of this type of novel or the structure of this type of novel that also undergoes. The themes, if we try to see and repeat once again, the themes are reality and illusion that the Don Quixote and his companion follow through. Then it's a kind of literary parody as well. I mean, if there is really a knight and that person is going through some of the adventures, that makes sense. But somebody only inspired through this kind of literature becomes a knight and tries to do the same, that makes it satirical, chivalric romance. It's a literary parody, therefore. There are two things which are quite dominant, and that is madness and sanity. That if we are inspired by literature that much, we may be undergoing some type of madness, and the society itself may be exercising its behavior like a mad person. But then sanity is also there to understand the society, to understand and try to go with the stream or try to go with the realities, whatever these are. Then power of storytelling has also been revealed through this novel because Cervantes explores narratives and its perspectives. For example, one of the line of the novel says, when one door is shut, another is opened. So that's a kind of reality and that's a kind of expectation which is given to the reader that if he feels that one part of his life is going negative, another part can begin. If he feels that he has not been successful in one type of profession or section of his life, maybe moving towards another one, because always it has been said that if one door closes, the other door is ready to be opened as well. Character of Don Quixote is again being repeated here. That character is very ambitious character, very romantic character, is a person who is inspired by literature and wants to perform certain adventurous deeds, and this he tries to do in the fashion of the knight so that he may also be able to enjoy the life in the same way. So he was illusioned that word is very good for the knight, but as soon as he entered into the reality, he was disillusioned as well. So Don Quixote is such type of character in this novel. The madness and sanity, for example, has been brought by the writer in this novel in such a way that the border or the line which divides madness and wisdom, meaning thereby where and at what status the madness is there and where wisdom should begin, that has been blurred by the writer, that we can discover wisdom in madness and madness in wisdom. So there is, in the words of Hamlet, there is a method to the madness all the time. Don Quixote also, first of all, becomes deluded and often speaks of profound insights, but very soon he becomes disillusioned as well. Example from the novel can be taken, for example, when life itself seems lunatic, who knows where madness lies? So it's not clear. Where is madness, where is sanity, but the things exist side by side, and it's difficult sometimes to decide where what is existing. Some of the critics, like Harold Bloom, argue that Don Quixote represents the eternal human struggle between idealism and pragmatism. But there are two more things that we should talk with reference to this novel. That it talks about idealism as well, it talks about pragmatism as well. So idealism is the ideals that we construct in our mind, being inspired by some person or by some literature or some phenomena, that we construct and think and that the things would go in the same way and we will be able to achieve our ideals. But very soon we come to know that reality is also there. Everybody cannot achieve the same ideals. So that is why what can be done, what is permissible, and what our capabilities allow as far as the existing reality is concerned. So we need to undergo the pragmatic approach, and that makes us more satisfactory and happy as well. So the novel debates a lot on the approaches towards idealism and towards pragmatism. Sancho Panza is a man or voice of reason. So he is different, or one can say, type of opposite, binary opposition. He is there to a wise man. He is practical, he is witty, he is grounded. So he is not altogether idealistic, he is more pragmatic. That is why he represents a common man or the folk wisdom that people, he's one of the people who understand what the reality is going to be. For example, he says, I know who I am, and I know that I may be not only what I am, but what I please. So that is the approach which the Sancho Panza has, that he knows the reality, he understands himself, his capabilities, and even doubts these things that he may be not able to claim these things. Such is the character of Sancho Panza. Then the novel can also be debated with reference to metafiction. And everybody knows that modern and postmodern literature, especially postmodern literature, has one of the characteristics that the writers begin to discuss their own stories, the characters, the stories, and they bring in number of ideals from here and there to interpret what they want to say. So if a fiction is being interpreted by the very writer in the same fictional narrative, that becomes metafiction. That means fiction about fiction, narrative about fiction, writing about fiction. That is the style of the postmodern writers. And the same thing is done by Don Quixote also, that he discusses his characters, he discusses the events of the novel, gives his point of view, supports his point of view from various references. For example, when he writes the second part of his novel, we can trace the number of quotes or references towards the first part of the novel. So in that way, this is metafiction also, and how it can teach the people the realities of life. That is the power of literature shown through different discussions by the writer. This novel has been received critically. For example, Mikhail Bakhtin says that this novel is good because it has polyphonic tones in it, that there are many types of people who have their own voices, multiple voices, therefore one can see, and the perspectives, different perspectives can be discussed in order to achieve some kind of singular truth, which is not that possible, however, but still Mikhail Bakhtin thinks that because of multi-voicedness of the novel, this is a good novel. Harold Bloom also says that it is a prototype of the modern Western hero, influencing figures from Hamlet to Huck Finn. So therefore, once again, this prototype novel or the model for writing the modern novel and the postmodern novel as well. So Harold Bloom praises this novel in that way. George Louis Borges admitted that Cervantes' use of irony, arguing that the novel critiques both reality and fiction equally, says that this novel is good because here not only fiction has been talked but also reality has been talked, and both have been critiqued. So that is why novel achieves a lot of status in the world of literature. That is why it is translated into multi languages and therefore is a part of the world literature. We can conclude in the words that this novel contains a good blend of comedy, tragedy, and deep philosophical questions, and as a result becomes very important when viewed through the critique as a critique of literature. It explores the madness, or it's a kind of power dream that most of the people have. Cervantes' novel continues to captivate, therefore, readers and critics alike. So that is all about it. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in some next video. If you like it, do not fail to hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. Thank you for watching.